Hello and welcome to NewsFirst Prime. This is Archana Ravikumar. On World Sexual Health Day today, like every year, they have an awareness theme this year too. It talks about sexual rights, sexual and reproductive rights, LGBTQ, transgender, lesbian, gays, and access to complete information about this. To talk about this, we have with us a very famous gynecologist, sexologist, Dr. Padmini Prasad, plus an author herself. She's also the president of Bharavase Charitable Trust, President Family Planning Association Bangalore branch, Vice President Council of Sex Education in Parenthood International, member World Association Sexual Health, International Society of Sexual Medicine. Doctor, welcome to the show.
Namaste.
First of all, doctor, speaking about sex itself is a taboo these days. And today we are dwelling on a very important topic. So first, to begin with, before we start about with sexual rights and other rights which we are going to talk about, let's begin with sex itself. What is the difference between the word sex and sexuality?
Yes.
So that it conveys our generation, because they are mostly negative minded about it and it's always behind the doors. That's what happens. Nobody is aware of it also.
Yes, you are very correct. At the outset, I would like to wish everyone a happy World Sexual Health Day, which is this 4th September. We celebrate all over the World Sexual Health Day, where we want to create awareness about what you asked, the sex, sexuality, sexual rights, sexual justice, pleasure, everything. We want to create awareness among the public. So you are asking about sex and sexuality. So there is lot of difference because everyone thinks sex and sexuality are same. Sexuality is a broader term. Sex is only just a very small part of it, maybe about 3% of the overall sexuality, which relates to sex is number one. We say whether male, female or transgender to say what is the sex of the person, or it also relates to physical act of intercourse. But sexuality is a very broad term which is the most integral part of each and every individual, irrespective of whether it is male, female, transgender or ethnicity or any part of the world. So this sexuality, as I was telling you, right from the birth to death, it is there with the person. Right from the time the baby is born and the gender is assigned as a boy or a girl, and throughout the development, how it is grown, how it is influenced by the parents, society, teachers and the friends and others in the society, whether it is a boy or a girl, the childhood, the puberty, adolescence, marriage, husband-wife relationship, pregnancy, childbirth and their relationship, all the physical, mental, psychological aspects of it, and also the menopause and the changes. So like that throughout, from the time of birth to the death, that sexuality is the most integral part, and these are all different dimensions of it.
Now coming to sexual rights itself, doctor, what are these sexual rights and why are we talking about it today, and what is the importance of it?
This sexual rights, like any other right, it is a basic human right. Even in our constitution, you know that so many rights are given to each and every individual. So in a similar way, like how it which relates to sexuality, whether it is right to life, right to privacy, right to confidentiality, right to marriage, to take the decision whether to marry or whether to have children or how many children or the spacing, and right to know, right for information about the sexuality, reproduction and contraception, and access to information. Every person has got a right to access the information, all the scientific progress or whatever information that is there. Every person has got a right to know that and to utilize that information, and also to question or to forum. There is to protest or to form a group where there is these basic rights are discriminated, or where there is a encroachment on their privacy or the life, confidentiality, all these things. And also the other thing is the bodily integrity, right to bodily integrity, and also protection of the body, and also utilization of sexuality, reproduction, contraception without shame, guilt, discrimination, fear and etc. So all these things are basic rights. Nearly 12 to 16 rights are given, sexual and reproductive rights. So every person is entitled for the right. Only thing is that everyone should know what is their right, and then only they can enjoy the full right, the bodily integrity, protection of everyone's their own body, the self protection. So these are the importance of rights.
Doctor, in India, this is, as you said, today's World's Sexual Health Day. But when it comes to India as a country, we have lot of cultural differences, economic backgrounds are different, everything is different.
Yes.
So in terms of India, what are the kind of challenges we face?
So every country or every place has its own culture, its own background, its own law and the rules, regulation. So within that framework, so whatever that is, as per that, we want healthy sexuality. This should be age appropriate, culture appropriate, as within the legal framework, and a proper awareness. So that is what is important. So whatever our culture says, whatever the society is, we are brought up with so many. So we are conditioned in the mind to do good things if we want to have good values. It is what we call it as when you say sexuality education. So this should be like age appropriate, culture appropriate, value based, and as per the age and understanding, or the understanding of the that particular individual. So a healthy sexuality education involves all these things. So we have to respect our culture also, whatever that it says, and also as per the age and understanding of the child, we have to give the sexuality education. And it should be value based, healthy education, not a perverted or negative aspects which are highlighted.
So you talk about sexual education. For instance, how do we educate a child? How do we educate an adolescent? How do we educate mature people themselves?
Yes. So at different stages, each and everyone needs some amount of awareness and education and guidance. So when you take the small child, even in the family, the mother is the first teacher, and within the family, that is how the child develops all the values and all the systems for everything, whether it is for food or toileting or the studies or the entertainment, everything you create you teach them some values, how it can be utilized. In a similar way, when it pertains to the sexuality, a proper value based information you should start giving right from a young age, and don't create any negative attitude. A small child will be exploring its body, so like that, like the eyes, ears, hands and other things, even it will be playing with the genitals sometimes. So immediately the parents will be snubbing the child, and the shame, puppy shame and all those things they keep talking. So you are creating a negative attitude right from that age. So the child thinks, oh, this is what I should not touch, I should not tell anybody, it is a shameful organ and I should not talk about it. So that is how the negative attitude is built in. But instead of that, when you are giving birth to the child, when you are telling stories or keeping the child on your lap, teach them certain things. These are all the body parts, you have to cover it because it is a sensitive organ, it can get hurt and people should not touch it, and you should not allow anybody to touch your parts of the body which are covered by cloths. So these are all naturally, in a matter of fact way, when you are describing, the child learns in a similar way. So during childhood, so create and remove the gender bias. When there are both boys and girls in the house, teach them how they have to respect each other, love each other, and should not encroach upon the body, should not hurt others' body, and should not create any discomfort or any shameful acts for the child. Then it becomes a punishable act. So all those things naturally during childhood, boys and girls, they develop that gender, they remove that gender bias. So gender respecting each other. So when they come to pubertal level, that's also the time when you are teaching. When they enter into puberty, you are observing certain changes in their body, whether it is a boy or a girl. So tell them, because lot of children, this is a transition from childhood to adulthood. So that time they will have lot of questions, lot of fear and lot of doubts, curiosity, but they are scared to ask the parents because they have not created that environment. So it should not be talked about, and we should not tell the parents, or they also may not like us talking about our body and other. So parents only take the initiative, tell them these are all the developments which can happen. You will have some feelings in your mind. You start developing some attraction, boys and girls. So you should know how you can control yourself and what are your priorities at this age. It is a education and your hobbies and how you have to finish your education, take up a job, stand on your legs. So, and in addition to the mutual respect, understanding, and also not creating any harm to the opposite gender, so you have to control yourself till you come to the age of marriage. So this adolescent sexuality and sexual behavior is a reality, and now we are seeing so many of this misuse or high risk adolescent sexual behavior, which is leading to unwanted pregnancy, unwanted this sexually transmitted infections, abortions, mental, physical harm, and also in addition to that this smoking, drinks, drug use, so other bad habits which can go along with that. So all these things, if there is a proper guidance, proper understanding, and teaching them about their own body and how to protect their bodies, how they can recognize so much of sexual abuse, sexual unwanted sexual behaviors can be avoided in the society. And you know, you were telling about the recently how a 9th standard girl
She gave
delivered in
birth.
bathroom, she never knew anything about that. So these
Total
things
unawareness.
do happen, and this is a reality. So to protect our children, to understand their own body and decision making capacity. So if I know if somebody misuses my body, and if something happens to me, and these are the things which can happen: unwanted pregnancy, sexually transmitted infections, and the society, a bad name in the society, and can be a punishable offense. All we have very severe POXO Act for us. So all these things children should be aware of.
Yeah, actually, even I was not aware of that act that until 18 you're not even supposed to,
Yes.
actually have any sexual advancements
Correct.
which can be punishable.
Yes.
I think kids have to be known,
Yes,
made
this-
aware of all this.
Very correct. What you are telling is very correct. That's why when we are talking about sexuality education in schools and colleges, as per the understanding, age appropriate, culture appropriate, value based sexuality in as per their understanding. So like how you don't teach 10th standard portion in first standard. So in stages you are teaching them about their body, how to protect their body, how to recognize the sexual abuse, and what you are supposed to do. You recognize 3 R's I was talking about. So recognize that your body is being misused and resist it. If you face certain things or somebody is misusing, run away from that place, or draw the attention of people surrounding you, or run away to some police people or some crowd or something. Protect yourself. And if something happens, you come and tell us at home. So create a good environment at home where they can easily tell these things to the parents. So a open discussion at home. So all these things, it will help the children. So that is how you create that sexuality education. And the other, you said different stages how you teach them. So before they enter into marriage, and tell that is the best time when you can teach them a premarital counseling, where you can prepare them for marriage, for the husband-wife relationship, healthy sexual relationship. If there are any sexual problems, to come to the doctors to get treatment for that, because it is available. Treatment is available, guidance is available. And then any stage of the life, during pregnancy, during after childbirth, or if there is any disease which can also affect the sexual functioning of the body. So all those are the different timings. So main thing is that they should avoid this. They should not think that it is a taboo subject and it is a shameful thing. And we have to attach dignity to the topic. It is not something obscene. It is something where you can attach dignity. It is about your own body, your own problem which is causing you physical and mental harm. Come to the doctor, discuss with them, get help, That's what we say at any stage. Even see then what we call it as the old age sexuality, because usually the sexuality of the youngsters is highlighted, and the sexuality of the old age people, it is always ridiculed. It is not like that. As I told you, sexuality, sexual feelings are there as long as you are alive. So any age is no bar for sex or sexual relationship. Even at the age of 90, 100, as long as if you are capable, if some activities, sexual activities can be continued. So because people do not have proper understanding, proper guidance, or they also do not know that there is help is available somewhere. And there is lot of developments in this field, in the whether in the form of scientific progress or medical progress. So lot of things are available where we can help our people. Every individual has got a right to know about it, right to get treatment and access to health care. So these are all it also comes in the form of rights, in the form of education, and in the form of access to information, and also to the avail of the healthcare facility for them. So all these things are their right, every person's right.
You rightly mentioned, doctor. As they age, they ridicule them. They don't accept it as normal at all. I think it's time for people to accept everything as normal.
Yes.
Now, doctor, teaching is one thing, one phase. But when it actually happens, either with the child, maybe as a child, the child will be innocent, they'll come and tell the parents, that is another thing. Adolescents, it's a house of secrets that they maintain. They don't come back and tell home, not all the times, whatever the kind of environment house is. And during this time, what kind of support is essential from schools, even society? Parents are always there. But what kind of support is essential from the society and school per se, doctor?
Schools and colleges, as I was telling you, a healthy sexuality education, it should be part of their curriculum. So when it is mixed with other subjects and part of the curriculum, so they will accept it. They will read that. So they will, and because we so many living, non-living things, bees and birds, they will be studying, not studying about the human beings. Earlier they used to skip those things which related to human beings. So all that attitude should change, mental attitude. And teachers also need some guidance and then teaching about how they can teach the children. So train the teachers, train the parents. During parent-teachers meetings, you talk to them. So, and there has to be special people and counselors can be there in the schools. So they can understand their problem, where they can go and talk to them and there is something is happening. So many children who are abused at home with their own close relatives or close cousins, uncles or somebody, where they are also abused, and they carry that guilt and shame throughout. And sometimes that is expressed after their marriage. I have seen so many of these sexual problems with the couple where there has been child sexual abuse. But the child will be carrying that guilt throughout and not knowing. So only repeatedly tell it is not your fault. A girl who has been sexually abused, repeatedly tell them, boost their morale, it is not your fault that you have been abused. And it is the fault of the person who has abused, accused person. So he has to feel guilty, not you. So it has happened. So when you are walking, sometimes you slip and then you may hurt yourself. That doesn't mean that is the end of your walk. You keep moving, continue your journey. So that is how be bold. So everyone should be supportive for the child. So that is how we have to the attitude of the society, attitude of the public, and everyone should be sensitive about these things. Because they do not know.
Generally
most of
the victim is highlighted and the person who is actually he is left free.
That is what is happening. Yeah. So we have to concentrate on them. So everywhere, if there is a proper scientific information, proper understanding of things, and so many of these things, when they can really know that it is a crime, that they should not commit. Because whenever there is an opportunity, if there is opportunity to have a girl and then privacy and somewhere, they can misuse the girl. But if if they are value based, and so many things you have value, you should not eat here, you should not do certain bad things here and there. You are brought up with some values and you stick to that values. So this also, as a part of your value system, this also should be inculcated. So then a lot of things which are happening in the society now, so much of rape and murder and burning and prostitution. So all these things can be avoided to a large extent. Of course, it may not be possible to eradicate completely to 0%, but in majority of the cases, you yourself, we are giving you strength to understand your body, protect your body, and take decisions for yourself. So that capacity we are giving through this education and information in the society. So that is what is important.
And we, in our society, we have a lot of traditional values plus modern perspectives. So what do you think, doctor? Can they coexist or will they collide?
At some point of time, but we need some, see, unless you have some control, unless you have some punishment, you will not, because if you are let so free, so you are prone to do it in a natural way, you are prone to do some mistakes. But that control, if it is there, yes, it is punishable. I should not do like that. So your own control system will be acting on you. So you need that cultural and the legal, the protect. That's a sort of protection to behave normally, to behave in a healthy way. So you need that in that. Sometimes then you let yourself free and you are trying to see the freedom and rights doesn't mean that you can do anything, you can talk anything, you can behave in any way, and you can misuse any other person. So that is not the thing. Our laws also say something. Whatever you do, it is in your own interest, in the interest of the society. Whenever the interest of the society is taken for a ride, whenever you are at risk, so then the law will come in, the culture will come in, and all those things will start coming. So we need that control, but somewhere the things are changing in the society, so that whatever the olden days, whatever you were giving it as considering it as not normal, today certain things are accepted as normal, accepted as reality. The taboo tag is coming down for so many things like abortions, for divorce and remarriage and this behavior. So certain things, the taboo aspect is coming down. Like how even the sexuality, slowly the taboo thing is coming down. It is getting accepted. People are realizing that we have to have a proper understanding and a positive attitude, that obscenity tag should go away from that. We have to give respect and talk these sexual matters can be talked in a dignified and a respectful manner. That's what we know. It is not always the below the belt language or unparliamentary, all those things which we were. Yes,
and very educative actually.
Correct. So we know that certain developments have happened in the society where we are. That's how we are able, now we are able to sit, and we are ladies. So many times it was the thought that ladies should never discuss about the sex, or they should not talk about sex. And both of us were sitting and talking it, but what we are talking it at a dignified level, and we are not attaching any obscenity to it. This is a healthy discussion or discourse, or the understanding what we are doing. So that's what we want, that healthy sexuality, not unhealthy sexuality or harmful sexuality which can cause harm to any individual. So that is what we are looking at.
Yes, doctor. Now coming to sexual and reproductive rights, what is a woman entitled to? Because I feel speaking about reproductivity, mostly it's women oriented, I feel so, but what is it actually? Does women have more right? Does it say that way?
No, the rights are there for everyone. Irrespective of the gender identity, or your orientation, your religion, or any ethnicity, any place in the world, irrespective of that, everyone has this right. Everyone can utilize this rights, and any right will come with the responsibility also. Just because you have got a right, you just cannot behave in any manner you want. So there is a responsibility, responsible behavior. Like that, we have sexuality, rights of sexuality, sexual and reproductive rights, where there is sexuality, reproduction and contraception. It is everyone's right. Whether you right to marry, and then whether to have children or not, decision making also is a right. So anything related to that, anything related to reproduction, whether it is the pregnancy, childbirth, or the genital organ, reproductive system, infections, whether it is tumors or disease, everything, you are entitled to know about that and take proper precaution about that, or get treatment, access to health care about that, and to enjoy the pleasure aspect, enjoy the healthy sexuality and having pleasure without discrimination, without fear, without shame, and without any coercion. It should not be a forceful thing. And there comes the consent also. You should be able to give consent, consensual sexual activity, where both the partners respect each other without misusing each other and without encroaching on your the privacy or dignity. So that is without any coercion. These are all the important sexual and reproductive rights. And contraception and safe abortions, these are all also rights you can have, because so many places the abortion rights have been taken away. The abortion is not. India, we should really appreciate our government. We have got the health is safe abortion. We have got medical termination of pregnancy to prevent women from suffering, to give them the right to have abortion in specific conditions where it can protect the interest of the mother, protect the interest of the baby. So these are all important, the sexual reproductive rights. So that is also everything.
Now, coming to abortion itself, doctor, now as you mentioned, women can determine whether she wants to have the child or not. But are men also equally entitled for the same?
Yes.
So they can decide if they want, even if the woman is not happy, I mean, if she wants it or not.
So that is an understanding they should have, but they cannot force.
Okay.
So that is how it
ultimately
is.
It's the women who
right,
takes
women can take the decision.
Okay.
Because usually for women, someone else will take the decision about the woman. She has no right on her body, no right on her uterus. Mother-in-law will have to decide, husband has to decide, or some family member has to decide. So she has to have a right, and she should she should make her own decision. So that is how it is important.
And in India, we come from different backgrounds, different social backgrounds, caste, economic status, everything becomes important, doctor.
Yes.
How does that impact reproductive health rights in India?
Yes, we have the urban, rural, and educated, uneducated, higher class, lower class, and so rural, urban, everything we have. But everyone should have equal right. Especially we have to concentrate on poor, marginalized, rural people, or urban downtrodden, because they don't have an approach. They don't have access to proper information. They don't have a voice to take decision on themselves, decision on their body. So this is an upliftment, and so that an inclusive society comes into picture. So we have to have an inclusive world, inclusive society, where is every person has got a right, every person is important, irrespective of whether it is rural, urban, educated, uneducated, poor, marginalized, or less fortunate people. So everyone, upliftment of every individual.
Doctor, coming next is LGBTQ or transgender or lesbians and gay.
Yes.
We don't even talk about them, forget addressing their problems. So what do you think is the right approach towards these people, and what are the kind of challenges they face? And plus, adolescence is the age when generally kids identify their gender. And there are a lot of changes which happen, they can identify that.
Correct.
So how do you think a child can identify this, and what are the kind of solutions they have?
This is also a very important aspect which you have brought it out. See, the sexuality or the sexual development occurs during adolescence. That is the emerging sexuality, sexual feelings, and the hormones, and the development of internal, external genitalia, everything happens. So that is also the time when emotional changes and the psychological changes also occur. In this context, they also recognize how they are attracted to other sex. Usually what we say is heterosexual attraction. A boy can get attracted to the girl, and the girl can get attracted to the boy. In few children, what happens, they find out or they detect that there is something different something is different in them. So their orientation is different. So they are not attracted, the boy is not getting attracted to the other boy, the girls, or he is getting attracted to the another boy. or a girl is getting attracted, this is a sexual attraction, not just an appreciation or some attraction, it is the sexual attraction. So they start getting confused. So what is happening, whether I am normal or abnormal, why is it happening only to me? And there are two things. Some are really made like that. It is not that it is voluntary and they voluntarily they are behaving that way. They are made like that by nature. So that is how this is a homosexual attraction. This attraction, when they detect, they sometimes they go into internet and then other social media. They think some children get, some of them may also get exposed to some homosexual experience, sexual abuse or something like that. They think they have become homosexuals. So that is not the case. Whether they are really homosexuals or homosexual attraction, so that we have to detect. So instead of getting confused and then getting into experiment and getting into wrong information, they should approach the doctors, whether psychiatrists, sexologists and the doctor, whoever, a family doctor who is there. So then by repeated counseling, repeated examination, we can detect whether their orientation or the sexual attraction is different in them. So then we can guide them properly. So for some children what happens, there is some also what we say a transgender feeling. So a male getting trapped in a female body or a female getting trapped into male body. At some point of time, they get so much stressed up and they want to reject the external appearance. So they want a boy, thinking that he is not a boy, he is a female inside. That is the core, that is the gender identity. So identify himself as a lady or a woman. So that is how it happens. At some point of time when we really detect it and they are so much stressed out and psychologically disturbed, then there are various ways how with a hormone treatment or with a surgery as a last resort. So there are various ways. So when the adolescents get confused, and this is the time, that's why a healthy sexuality education when we are giving, we also can at some point of time when the older children we can talk about this sexual orientation, and there are people who are made different, but that they should not get confused. They have to approach the doctors and get proper guidance. So that is how it is, and ours should be an inclusive society. If the world is inclusive, we have all varieties of people, especially able, disabled and whether the other types, but we all take them into the mainstream in the society. That is how, but only when it comes to sexual minority or their orientation is different and their feelings are different, people think them differently because they have developed, the society has got a phobia, homophobia or transphobia. Because of that, they don't accept these people. But every individual has got a right. It is a basic human right. So when we create an inclusive society, understand things properly, scientifically or medically, what is the real fact. So these phobias will disappear. So they also will have a proper life. So every individual has got a right to have the proper information and proper this right to life and integrity, bodily integrity, privacy, everything there is a right. So then we can exercise that right. So a proper understanding of this LGBTQ, and when it starts and when they have to go to the doctor, so all those things become important.
Okay. So next comes access to information, doctor. Yes. We have a flood of information everywhere available, especially for the kids when they, anybody for that matter, any age group, first thing they do is Google and search.
Yes.
Now before they come to doctor, that's another thing, but before that itself they do their research part of it. So in that part, how do they identify what is accurate and what is not accurate, something which they can rely on, something which they cannot rely on, doctor?
When we talk about these rights, one of the rights is access to information. Whatever the developments are happening, whether the scientific progress or what is happening in the society, the further developments, latest research, everyone is entitled to know that information, access to information. Then only when you have a proper information, then you can also take decision about yourself, your body, what you have to do and how you have to behave, all that. So a proper information is extremely important and access to information is important. So what is their right? and how they can exercise that right and how they can access the information. So once there is a information, there should also be a proper healthcare facility for them. So access to healthcare facility, that is also very important. So one of these, when we talk about sexual justice, the rights are also important, access to information also is important, to know what is happening into their body, to take a proper decision, whether it is about the sexuality, whether it is about reproduction, whether it is about contraception, whether it is safe abortion. All the information is important. When they are spreading wrong information, when there are wrong policies, they should also be able to protest or they talk against that if there is something is affecting them. So all that is their right. It is also. So that's why in World Sexual Health Day, when we are talking about all these things, about the justice, everyone is entitled to healthy sexual relationship, sexuality, and also without any discrimination, coercion, fear, or the shame or guilt. Nobody should have this. They should have that sexual pleasure which is rightfully theirs. So what we talk about is healthy sexuality. So we should attach dignity to the subject. We should remove that the tag of obscenity and the below the belt talk or the unparliamentary talk, all those obscene talks, all those things which we attach. So those negative things should be removed. We have to attach positive attitude towards sexuality. It should be healthy sexuality without any abusing the other person, without any causing harm to the other person, without having the relationship without consent. All these things are bad. So the consent also is very important. What we talk about is consensual sexual activity, where each one is respecting the other's body and having pleasurable relationship. So all these things, when it is there, then we can give sexual justice also. So that is what we are concentrating or stressing on, sexual justice. So what we can do is all these things which we can do. That when we too as ladies we are sitting and discussing about this itself is attaching dignity and talking it in a proper way or just a matter of fact way how we can discuss. Usually so in so many cultures it is the ladies should not talk about sex,
this.
should not express anything about sex, but irrespective of the gender. So there is, everyone has got a right, whether it's a male, female, transgender or any person on earth, a basic human right. So that is how we have to look at the subject of sexuality or sex.
So there's nothing obscene about it. We have to look at it like any other subject.
Yes.
And not nothing different. It's a very natural thing, is
Correct.
what you say, doctor.
So that's how you could discuss, or you could ask questions, or how I can express it.
Yeah.
So that is how it should be, just a matter of fact expression.
No matter what we talk to, there are many people with many doubts, irrespective of their age, with this in regard to this subject itself.
Yes.
So what is your one piece of advice to them, doctor?
So you take sexuality or the sexual problems, sexual relationship in a proper way. So attach have a positive attitude, and everyone is entitled to pleasurable sexual relationship with sexual justice. Everyone has got sexual and reproductive rights, and know your body properly so that you can take informed decisions regarding sexuality, reproduction and contraception. So even if there is any problem like any other disease like cough, cold or any other fever, you come to the doctor, get it clarified. Just don't go to the internet and search and then get into all sorts of problems and develop some fear, phobia and other things. Have a proper guidance and proper information.
I think we've spoken about a very important topic today.
Yes.
It is very informative talking to you, doctor. Thank you so much for being on this show, doctor.
Thank you very much.
Remember, sexual health and rights are for everyone, irrespective of their gender, age, and identity. So let's keep talking, let's keep learning, stay informed. For more such content, keep watching News First Prime.